You're watching India Sense. Let's get the top voice segment on the show. Mark Linscott, who is a former Assistant Trade Secretary at the U.S., joins me to talk about the U.S.-India trade relationship. Mark, let me start by asking you, how do you see the trade relationship now under Donald Trump's administration?
Well, it's a bit counterintuitive to say this, but it is my belief. I think that with the Trump administration and even the threat of tariffs or potentially the imposition of tariffs, there are opportunities to actually improve the trade relationship, and that's essentially because the two sides will be playing for a lot. The stakes will be high. I expect that there will be leader-level attention, meaning President Trump and Prime Minister Modi, and that presents a set of circumstances that allow the two sides to come together, engage in give and take, and put a lot on the table, and ideally conclude, it may take some time, but ideally conclude a first ever U.S.-India bilateral trade agreement. So I'm optimistic.
Well, this indeed is counterintuitive. I want to ask you, why are you so optimistic? And do you think some of this is Trump's rhetoric, maybe posturing for better negotiations?
Well, yes, I do think that there's a degree of posturing, and certainly on the part of the Trump administration, only a couple days old. There is, I think, a desire to leverage at least the threat of tariffs to commence a trade negotiation, and let's not minimize some of the difficulties of that. A trade negotiation could be very, very hard and difficult to conclude. But that said, the two sides do have experience negotiating with each other on trade. During the first Trump administration, this was when I was at the U.S. Trade Representative's office as the Assistant USTR for South and Central Asia. We had a situation in which India's benefits under the GSP program, the Generalized System of Preferences program, were being threatened. There was a review looking to suspend those benefits. And it was that impetus that got the two sides to the table and came very close to concluding a trade deal. It would have been a smaller trade deal, but it certainly would have been a significant accomplishment. And I think it's unfortunate it didn't happen then. I am much more hopeful this time around that there can be a trade deal during the Trump second term of office.
All right, Mark Linscott, thanks much for speaking to me on India Sense.